done.
All righty. Let's see if we're back up here. Hopefully we are. Let me go back over the other side and take a look here. Huh. Yeah, no, it's showing me live on the second stream here. All right, fine, we're up. So let me let me do that whole process again. Hopefully it'll stay up this time. I don't know what's going on, but the internet has decided to have a conniption, Zundero.
Indeed. I
Yes.
noticed.
Yes,
Let us share this.
it's not want to do anything properly. It won't even
Uh-oh.
do
Yeah.
that. Hmm.
Let's see here.
Can you share it out?
I'm trying.
Hey, Josh. Oh, there we go. So join us again live.
Uh-oh.
All righty.
Uh-oh. I got silence again.
No, can you hear me?
There you are.
All right, yeah, I'm fine. Let's see. So this is the one that was disconnected. So let's get rid of that. And then this right here, YouTube cops, Roger said. I think so. But yeah, just it is what it is. All right, we seem to be working, although yeah, it seems to be working now. All righty. I don't know what that was. It happens every now and then, though, doesn't it? Yeah, every now and then we get this kind of nonsense for no reason whatsoever. My internet connection is fine. There's nothing wrong here. First thing I checked, and I just got updated too. I got all the new fancy stuff. So it's something on the other side of it. Although Discord got knocked off too, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, you were gone.
I don't know. Anyway, we're back. So it's going to show that other stream disconnected for some reason, even though I just put up a second stream. But oh well. Brett's in here, and how you doing? And yeah, it seems to be working. So before it decides to go out again, let me go over and start the news. You ready?
Do it.
All righty. So because we do have things to talk about, we definitely do. Is that the
Stuff
one?
and things.
Yeah, I think this is the one I want right here, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is. Okay, good. Bring this up. Come back over here. Yeah, okay, everything's working again, I guess. All right, so you guys know I like to talk about comic books. I'm assuming board games and comic books. But let me go ahead and bring this up here. Now, this is a Kickstarter page, and as I've said to you guys before, we've looked on the Kickstarter page before. Kickstarter is kind of where board games are born for the past decade or so. Matter of fact, I have said very clearly on many occasions that if it weren't for the board game and tabletop world, Kickstarter wouldn't even exist. Right? Even though they'll get no love, right? Of course, they get no love from Kickstarter, even though that's where their money comes from. But typical. Anyway, I have it on the magic setting here, which is always good, which means things that are making some money. And you see, we do have some things making some money. We got the Quest O Namicon. Okay. This thing here is made over $283,000. It's pretty good for a board game, don't you think?
Doesn't suck.
Doesn't
I'd
suck.
take it.
We got the relics of Raja Viharar Motarahar, whatever that is. It's got 36,000 Canadian dollars. What is that? Like $10?
Not anymore.
No, less. 750. Okay. We got the Wild Serengeti. But if you're interested in seeing what's going on in the tabletop world, Kickstarter is the way to go. And you just go to their tabletop setting and then you'll see all this stuff. And there's lots of neat things that just pop up. Sometimes they're role playing games, a lot of times they're board games, card games, whatever. Here's a 5e supplement right here that's made $262,000 for some little card game here. We got some more 5e stuff that's got $1.4 million. Let's click on that one. What do you say? Let's see what this one is. RPG Adventures and Supplements for 5th edition with Ed Greenwood. Well, that there. Okay. That's why it's $1.5 million. Yeah, Ed tends to pull them in. So I guess this is a new tabletop project. They raised $4 million worldwide, so this is not the first Kickstarter. So Ed's making money. Good for Ed though. Good for him, right? Because of those dimwits that are running WotC now. See, this is what you get. You could have had some of that money, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. For
Oh
no
no.
good reason either.
Yeah, and for no good reason. And oh my God, Ed's got a woman with him working with him. What are you doing, Ed?
And she's a little bit of a cutie
She
too.
is kind of a
Look at
cutie.
that.
She's not bad looking. She's a normal looking lady.
A nice smile.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
bad.
yeah. But I mean, I don't know what he's thinking because he's supposed to be something other. Oh, there's another one. Oh my God, what are you doing, Ed? You're breaking the illusion. Jeff Grubb's in here. Oh my God, he went and got some hitters, didn't he? Ed ain't playing around, dude. But good on them. So they've made near $6 million off of this new campaign. I might have to buy this one. I wasn't
Uh-oh.
even paying attention, dude. Don't tell my wife. Let's see how much I got to spend. Let's see, $25, so that's $50. Okay, there's $69. 120. That's one I'd probably get, the big one. Yeah, oh, they got miniatures and cards too. Oh my God, I could spend $300. Which one you think I'll get?
Probably $300.
Probably. Just don't tell my wife. That's important. But all right, so they got all kind of cards and they got a ton of books and a ton of stuff like that. But I mean, this is my point. So far, they've made 5 million, going on $6 million. When's the last time a Marvel single issue made that kind of money? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Not
Yeah,
even. Who knows?
yeah.
Years.
So that's the way it is, though. But Ed, of course, is very important. He created the Forgotten Realms. For those of you who don't know, one of Dungeons and Dragons' biggest campaign setting, biggest world. But there's a bunch of stuff in here, and I just suggest to you because I'm always trying to promote you guys to play more board games because it's a lot of fun. It's social interaction, get your brain working, get talking with people, and it promotes social interaction. And that's one thing I've noticed, and I'm sure you all have as well. We just don't sit and talk to each other as much. We don't.
Yeah.
This social media stuff has really shut down the world in a lot of ways. It made the world smaller, but at the same time, it kind of killed us interacting with each other. Get together, have your friends over on a Saturday, just sit and play a board game, chat, have a mojito, right? Some buffalo
Mojito.
wings, maybe. You know what I mean? I mean, well, when's the last time you had friends over to your house?
Well, all last week because I was fixing. My buddy was helping me fix my plumbing, but I get what you mean.
Right? And it's just because we used to have people over here all the time, and it's been a while. Of course, this COVID is causing the part of that problem, but I'm just saying, man. Board games, tabletop stuff. It's fun and it's a really good way to kind of change up your what you've been doing, right?
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of us, we've really just kind of we're sitting in our houses, we're going to work, maybe we interact here on the internet like we're doing right now, but we're not really interacting with each other. And board games are an easy way to do that. Especially if you're kind of an introvert and you're not really good at communicating face to face, this will help you not only become better at that, but it'll help you give something to talk about. That's the great thing about it, right? You're all doing something together anyway. And a lot of these games, keep in mind, are communal games. That's a mechanic that's been going on for quite a while now. It's you guys, all the people at the table versus the game, and that's fun, right? So because some people are scared of competing against each other and being aggressive in that way, right?
Yeah.
So this eliminates it. There's so many board games that allow you to fight against the game, and it's a lot of fun. I'm going to keep pushing it, but I hope it does. More people get involved, and I just this is the second time I think I've looked at Kickstarter. But just keep in mind that's a place to kind of see what's going on. And it isn't just these big successful projects, there's smaller projects, but also you get the big board game companies like Queens or Asmodee or Fantasy Flight or whatever. They will come and drop their new stuff on Kickstarter too because it's free advertising. Now, you remember back, way back, we were having a bunch of arguments in the beginning of this whole Comicscape movement. With Mike Miller and Doug TenNapel and various people, and the different opinion on whether a crowdfund should be only for the little guy or can it be used by the big guy as a advertisement, direct market advertisement. And you remember that disagreement that was going on across the board?
Hmm.
That still goes on. I personally think, why the hell not? Why can't it be both? Right? What's wrong with, because if I come up here and I look at the recent one, let me click on the recent button here. Newest, yeah, there it is. And I'm going to see a bunch of stuff in here. This is like just got $100 on it, $1,000, a couple $100. There's not tons of money, 5,000 go near here. These are little people who don't have much backing behind them. They have a dream and they're putting stuff out, and maybe they'll make 10 grand or 20 grand, maybe. And what's wrong with that? They're out there getting seen, people, and having a market where people are spending money. They'll spend money on other stuff. It's like when you go to the checkout and you see that peanut M&Ms, you're like, ooh, I'll take one of those, right? It works both ways, right? So I personally think you can do both, even though I know a lot of people don't like it when the big companies come in and use it as an advertisement. However, ooh, there's some nice stuff. I haven't looked on here in a little while. I need to pay attention. But then again, I've been kind of tight on my wallet recently. Oh well. Anyway, let's move on. There you go.
Blistering barnacles. Schools burn Tintin book in racism storm.
In Racism Storm. Yeah, that's not really the best headline. The Times. Yeah, not, get a better editor. But anyway, basically what happened, this was a couple years ago actually. It's just kind of coming to light, and a lot of this is in Canada. The Providence Catholic School Board burned, or they didn't burn all 4,700, but they stacked them up and they burned 30 books in particular for educational purposes, of course, to protest against I don't know, not white people. I think it's white people. But in amongst those were, of course, Tintin and Asterix. Now, it's funny to me because Tintin, of course, was written by a guy named Belgian, a guy named Hergé, more than 100 years ago, is when all this stuff started. And keep in mind that guy, he was a rich European, rich Belgian, and at that time, the rich people in Europe, they would go on the world tour. Can you hear my air quotes? Can you hear them? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the fashionable thing to do, and a lot of the well-to-do would do that, and he did the same. He traveled around the world, and he kept a journal, I'm sure, and he took his adventures traveling around the world and turned them into a comic strip and a comic book. Okay, what's wrong with that? Where's the racism?
Racism's everywhere.
I don't know. But of course, Asterix is funny because Justin Trudeau here says, I wouldn't call for the burning of the books, but we can't, however, however, he said it's not up to the non-Indigenous people to tell Indigenous people how they should feel or act to advance reconciliation. Okay. So Asterix is Indigenous.
Yeah.
It's talking about the Gallic people, the indigenous people of the France.
Of the France region.
Yeah, and of course this is up in Canada, which we know they got the Quebecois, pain in the ass Canucks. But why? Why are we burning books at all in the 21st century? Why is that happening?
Because these people, and I use that term with as much looseness as I possibly can, these Homo simians are a threat to actual human progress.
Clearly.
To everything that the Enlightenment brought us, all the greatness and splendor that grew from it. These people hate it, and they hate the West for being the first ones to rediscover it in that time period, because it wasn't new. Most of it wasn't new, at least not the basic principles. And they don't like it because they're authoritarian scumbags who are full of hatred and vile and venom, and all they care about is destruction.
Yeah.
Communism is a Marxism as broader is basically a religion, a pseudo religion of destruction.
Yeah. Without question, right?
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is, the lady who was in charge of this, that did this, she's recently been fired because it's been brought into question her actual indigenous status. It's another Elizabeth Warren here, Susie Keys. She's
I love
she's
it.
I'm an Indian, and then she turns out she's not an
If
Indian.
I was an easily triggered little snowflake, that kind of stuff would offend me. Being an actual part Indian, like a significant part. But it's just it's pathetic, is what it is. You're pathetic people, and I get it. The incentives are there to do it, not just socially, but also in some cases financially. But it's just pathetic. Be proud of who you are. Every single group of people on the planet of Earth come from a great people. There's no reason to be ashamed of who you are. Right. None. The ancestors who conquered the world, or who invented a great thing, or who made beautiful art, or who just lived normal, honorable lives. That's wonderful. They're in you. Their blood runs through your veins. You shouldn't be ashamed of it just because somebody else feels jealous that maybe your group of people did better than their group of people.
Yeah, and you're there. I mean, let's be honest, they're a conquered people. So I mean, it just is what it is. But I grew up with a small group of friends. I had about 7 friends that we kind of stuck together, right? And as I've said before, sadly, they're all dead now from various things. I'm the only one left. However, probably my best friend in another group. I don't know. There was 2 that I was really close with, but the guy I traveled with the most and stuck with the most. His dad, which means him. Well, he came in from a marriage though, but his father was the chief of the Narragansett Indian tribe, right? So I was always over his house and always hanging out and going to the powwows and the cookouts and stuff like that. So I grew up around Indians. I'm not one. I never claimed to be one, but I did grow up around them quite a bit. And one thing I never ever saw out of any of those Indians was them standing up and bitching on the side of the street. I see a lot of white people doing that, but not them.
Yeah, they're not whiners.
No.
Even when the stuff was happening to them, like actual literal oppression was happening to them, most of them weren't whining. They just didn't. They don't. That's not who they are as a people, by and large. Now there are exceptions to every rule, but those exceptions really just prove the rule. You can look it up. All sorts of research has been done on how many actual natives, and I hate that term. Tribals is a better term. Get offended by the stuff that a bunch of white liberals say that they're offended about, and almost never is that the case. They don't care. They literally don't care. They're living their lives. They got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Making money at that casino.
Making that money. Getting that white man's money.
Yeah, I get your point, Joe. Of course, you're right that they keep doing all those stupid things. But it's just like, Tintin, the most innocuous and banal comic ever made? Really? It's a bit much, Joe. I mean, come on. It's a bit much. I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all. Tintin, I never cared for Tintin. It's so damn boring. But whatever. Get him, Canada. Get him.
When people act out of envy and they do things that are dishonest to their own envy, meaning they don't admit that that's the problem, that they're jealous, they do not completely nonsensical things like this. So why would you go after a book like Tintin because it's about traveling and stuff? It doesn't make any sense other than the fact that these people have a massive inferiority complex. They're not inferior to anybody, but they think they are.
Yeah.
And they won't admit that. They don't have the honesty intellectually to look at the world through an honest eye and say, oh, my problem is me. I feel a certain way that's not real. Now, why do they feel that way? A million different reasons. But they should still have that honesty. And they should still do the work that they like to push on everybody else and fix it.
Ooh, did you see what Joe put there? It's pretty neat. I'm going to read it. My fathers sleep on the sunrise plains, and each one sleeps alone. Their trails may dim to the grass and rains, for I choose to make my own. I lay proud claim to their blood and name, but I lean on no dead kin. My name is mine for the praise of scorn, and the world began when I was born, and the world is mine to win. The Westerner, Badger Clark. That's nice, dude. I like that. I don't know if I've
Pretty
heard
good.
that before, although it sounds like I have. I feel like I've heard that before. Why do I feel that though? Is that famous or something?
I think I've heard it before too. I think it's in a couple movies or
Yeah,
something similar to it. It's like a derivative of it. Um, but no, it is pretty good, and it's correct.
it
People,
is correct. Yeah.
everybody, if you can hear my voice, you should be proud of who your people are. You might not be proud of yourself, and that's okay. Work on yourself, make yourself better till you feel that pride. But of your people, your ancestors, you should feel pride in them because they literally gave everything for you.
Oh yeah,
Everything.
I'm very proud. We killed lots of peoples.
Hey, they shouldn't have been standing there.
That's right. Damn
It was
Vikings
you or
got you.
them.
The Vikings got you. But anyway, let's move on. But I get it, Joe. I understand your point. I think we're just having a laugh as usual is what we're doing here. I mean, I think I've made my point very clear. I'll restate it if I must. But all the joking and goofing we do here is just for fun. Because from my point of view, if you look at the world, we're being, this whole concept that people use in the word clown show. It's just
Yeah,
an acknowledgement of understanding that the childishness of the human being. We are very childish things. We're not mature. We're not great. We're not these monoliths of intellect and creativity. We're not. We're very childish, and we have to. We need to be try to wake up a little bit and try to understand that so that we cannot be led by those who are the most childish of us. The
yeah,
human condition is a very interesting thing because even though we're childish and we do silly things and we'll do things we know we shouldn't, we can glimmer past our nonsense and we can see the end goal. We can see creation. What a weird juxtaposition the human being is. We can see greatness, we can see perfection, but it's impossible for us to get around ourselves.
that's right.
That's the situation. And we're never going to be perfect. We're never going to be able to be actual mature and wise. It's just not where we are. Millions of years from now, I don't know, but that's not what we are. But we do need to police ourselves to the point that at least the wiser of us can try to sit in some position of authority, because it's literally a clown world.
Yeah,
That's how ridiculous that we're living in. So I get it. I understand all of that. I'm just having a laugh because, better laugh than cry.
that's right.
Is that clear? I'm trying to be clear.
One of my favorite quotes of all time from the movie Gladiator. It's probably the best, most succinct single sentence ever uttered in a movie, and deep. And it's from Marcus Aurelius, and it's from Marcus Aurelius, but Maximus is the one who says it. Death smiles on us all. All a man can do is smile. That's everything. That's
Mm,
it. You just have to be happy. That's it. There's no other great purpose for an even individual person than finding happiness. It's one of the reasons the American founders changed life, liberty, and property to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Because property doesn't grant the end goal is to be happy. For every living being on Earth, all human beings, all sentient, or I should say sapient beings, they want to be happy. They don't know necessarily what'll get them to that point, but they chase different dragons until they finally get it, or they never. Most people never do, to be honest.
yeah.
Uh, but that's the goal. That's it. That's the one thing. What is the meaning of life? It's the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah,
Because
no, it's true.
everything else is suffering. Everything else is suffering. The universe hates you. If the universe could emote, it would hate you, and and it's trying to literally destroy you
Oh yeah.
every single day you're alive.
Mother Earth wants you
So
dead. That's for damn sure. Can't you tell?
pursue happiness because no one is going to give it to you. You
Yeah.
have to chase it.
That's where the syphilis came from.
Yes.
but no, of course it is true. I would love to know, because we don't know the actual story of the founders. We really don't. I don't. It's and maybe we'll never know. Because how do you get a group of rich, entitled brats? Because that's what they were, right?
Yeah. Well, some of them, but
No,
yeah.
what they all were to a point, to dig their heels in and actually make decisions, not to make themselves rich and powerful, but to actually free humanity. How the hell did that happen? Because if you look at the amount of power they threw away that they could have kept,
Oh yeah.
it's
I
impressive.
mean,
And I really would love to know what really happened, because we don't know. All we have these platitudes and all these,
well,
this kind of thin history. We don't really know, but something happened that caused these men to throw freedom in the mix. I mean, true freedom. They really gave it a shot. And I don't understand how that. I'm happy it did, but I'm really confused as how that group of men ended up doing that. You know?
um, there's a long chain of events, as they literally say, that led to it. But it was a. I mean, you can read the Federalist Papers. You can read all this stuff for the 40 years before the Revolution, even longer back, 100 years before the Revolution, with the great writers in England. Uh, I mean, it really was, and it really is, and not it wasn't perfect, but it was an attempt. It was a culmination, like the Magna Carta was, of centuries, millennia of human striving for that same thing, happiness. And we've come to realize, at least I thought we did as a species, that the way to achieve that is through liberty, through sovereignty, which then grants liberty. And sadly, we're no longer in that place where most people understand that.
Mhm.
But
I
I
get
don't
your
know how
point.
it came. I don't know how it came. Thanks, baby. Ooh, that looks like a good steak. I don't know how it came to where we are now, or to where they got there. I don't know what mixture of cosmic whatever led to that specific thing. But I do know that it may never come again. And that's the
Well,
sad thing. Because
um,
these men, you have to understand, Chester, they weren't just rich. Some of these men were literally the most brilliant minds to ever live. And they all happened to be within 50 years of each
yeah,
other.
because they're all trying to make money in the colonies, right?
Well, of
I
course.
mean,
But I mean, think about it. Ben Franklin was one of them, one of the greatest inventors in human history. Literally, if you're wearing glasses and they have bifocals in them, thank Ben Franklin, he invented it. Uh, you have Thomas Jefferson, probably the greatest political mind to ever live. You have Madison, who was also pretty good, was no slouch. Both the Adamses were no slouch. One was a warrior, and the other was a brilliant thinker, John Adams and Sam Adams. Washington was a perfect charismatic man, like as far as like figurehead, and he was an extremely disciplined
he was
guy.
Bill
You can
Clinton.
read his writings. It was a perfect storm of just the right dudes, and
Yeah.
most of the founders lost everything
Yeah,
during the
no,
war.
they did. They did. And that's my point. Because I know all those things. I've read all of that stuff, of course. But I'm just saying that I think there was some manner of euphoria that caught them up. So maybe similar to what the German princes did back at the Reformation. It could have been similar. Now, the problem was that 200 years after the Reformation, their ancestors have been working for the past 200 years to fix the shit they did. So I'm kind of
Yeah,
wondering if that's what we're seeing going on in America with these so-called Democrats. And keep in mind, the Democratic Party has been with us since the beginning. Keep that in mind. The Republicans are new or newer, right?
newish.
But I mean, anyway, let's move on from this. But Asterix, it really is dumb. I mean, it literally is
Yep.
indigenous. Dumbasses. Anyway, let's go on.
Hang on 1 second. I'm eating my dinner. My computer wants to have a fit. Now my computer's acting up. Here we go. Showrunner for Netflix's live-action Cowboy Bebop says Faye Valentine's updated costume felt like it was telling the story of that character in the best way possible.
All right, let me deal with. I'll deal with this when you
It's
eat
a
your
lot of
steak.
words that don't mean nothing.
They
It's a
don't mean
lot of
nothing.
words.
Yeah, let me deal with this when you have your steak. Now, here. I'm not going to spend much time on this, because a lot. If you go and look at a lot of reviews and stuff, and the noise that came up out of the set photos, everyone wasn't talking just about her. But of course,
Yeah.
it's always going to be about the woman in the end, right? Because she made it about her. They were talking about
Well,
everything
yeah.
looked weird, right?
Listen, I'm going to say this real quick. That was brilliant of her. Brilliant of her. Took all the heat off of everything else, and now she's got all the attention. I don't know if she's that smart and she did it on purpose, but if she isn't, then she had a freaking savant moment because
No, well,
that was brilliant.
yeah, but she's an entitled brat. But
Yeah.
no, that's not even the point though. A lot of these guys who were doing and ladies as well who were covering it, they didn't want to come right out and say directly, so they talked more about the costume. Now, fans are always going to talk about costumes and stuff because they want to look just like what it looked like, and I get that. But that's not really the biggest issue with this actress. The costume, yeah, no, of course they're toning it down, whatever. The problem is she's a scrunched up, no neck little chick. She's not sexy. She's not Faye Valentine in the least at all.
Yeah.
That's the real thing. But people don't have the balls just to say it out straight, so they talk about the costume. That's really what the problem is. And these people here talking about the costume and oh, there was the best update we could. No, that's not the point. Your casting issues are the problem. She is
Yeah.
nowhere near the right choice. And her getting up there and saying they couldn't find someone who's ridiculous. You have at least a dozen reviewers I can think of that showed pictures of other ladies who would have been better choices.
Yep.
Right? That's not the whole issue. Is her in this particular character, the skinny, short black dude playing Jet Black. Yeah, that's a problem. The least of it was the dude playing Spike, the guy the from that comedy movie way back.
Yeah,
That
the
wasn't
only real
even that
problem with
funny.
him is he's old. He's a
He's
little too old
old
to
and
play.
he doesn't. It isn't perfect, but whatever. That's the issue with this. Stop it. You made your bed, and you're going to lie in it, and we all know it's going to be crap. So you keep talking, girl. You keep talking. I'm going to move on. This is brilliant though. This right here. This is the shizzle.
I saw this. Star Trek Picard Season 2 will see Q turn America fascist in not so subtle attempt at political commentary. So basically,
They're going to turn him into Joe Biden.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Was that a
That was
Grimlock?
my first. That was
Yes.
a Grimlock.
Yes.
My first thought is we were going to
get. I want to skip back to that Cowboy Bebop thing because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And like you said, she looks nothing like Faye Valentine. No. She looks like Miss Swan cosplaying the captain from Firefly.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's really bad casting. She's so scrunched up. She's just not, I'm not saying this actors can't do lots of stuff, but not every actor can do everything, right? I mean, it just isn't the way it is. I mean, even some of the great actors, like Anthony Hopkins, or even someone like Sigourney Weaver. I like Sigourney Weaver. I've enjoyed her in many things. There's plenty of shit she should go nowhere near, right? Yeah. It's about casting, man. The chat has got some opinions here. Let's see. Combo says, I'm not one of those people that doesn't root for things to fail, but I legit want this abortion to wither and die on the vine. Yeah, no, we all do, dude. We all do. But anyway, a lot. And here's another one. Now, of course, what Thunder was going to say as he eats his steak, and I'll let Grimlock have an opinion too. Do you mean to turn this into a fascist state like it is now with the Democrats? Is that what they mean?
Mm-hmm. No, see, it's not fascism. It's not fascism when they do it, Chester.
No. Boy, they cannot get Trump out their craw. My God, he's stuck in there, living free.
Yeah, because he wasn't a part of the big club. George Carlin told everybody what was going to happen, and we watched it in real time, and still nobody got it.
Yeah, even someone as rich and effective as Trump was not one of them, right?
Yeah, people keep thinking it's a money thing or a family thing. No, there's a very select few, and you ain't in it, and all you have to do is talk about the ones who are in it, or get to some place you're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
We watched it, and the moment they realized Trump had a chance, look how quickly they turned. Because growing up in New York for 30 years, Trump's always been the same guy. He's always been a dick.
Yep.
He's always been braggadocious. He's gonna tell you he has the biggest dick in the room, whether he has it or not.
Yeah, that's true. It is true. That's Trump. You and I grew up with Trump. The rest of America didn't, right?
But he's always been the same person, and before nobody cared. You look at how they talked about him all the way up to October of 2015, and look how they talked about him from October 2015 on, and it's like, are we talking about the same guy?
Yeah, no, I know. It's funny, especially for us up in the New England, area, because like Grimlock is saying, we grew up with Trump. Trump has been in our lives the whole time. He was on TV all the time. He was in commercials, all kinds of shit, right? And we know Trump well, and he is. It's Trump is Trump. But that has nothing to do with the nonsense that's going on. But this right here is, once again, like Joe had said, they're just trying to piss you off. They're taking something that men like, and they're twisting and destroying it. Picard, one of the most beloved captains, has been turned into what? A fascist dictator now? Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
He's not even a fascist dictator. He's a fucking simp.
It's worse than that, right? Yeah. So he'll be the voice in front of
I could respect fascist Picard. That I could respect. I can't respect simp Picard. He's insufferable.
One of the reasons people forget one of the reasons he was beloved so much was he had the ability to reason, where in comparison to someone like Kirk was so impulsive and emotional, where Picard had his emotional moments too, but Picard had enough sense about him to where he would take a step back and he would try to reason, and even try to seek the opinions of others, because he knew he didn't always know the way.
Well, yeah, no, you're right. And Picard is what a real captain would be like. Whereas, Kirk is more of a pirate, right?
Yes.
And that's the difference between the two. And he's the fleet admiral Picard, type of character. It's very realistic. It's very believable. And I'm so glad, Grimlock, that you were listening to my telepathic thoughts and talking about Kirk, because boom.
William Shatner changes his mind. Now open to Captain Kirk appearing in the next Star Trek film.
Mr. Shatner.
I'm open to that too.
No.
Only because I want to laugh at it.
Okay, fine. But I would say Mr. Shatner.
I have cruel intentions, is what I'm saying to you.
I know you do. But, Mr. Shatner, you've given us hours upon hours of entertainment, whether it be as Captain Kirk or Denny Crane. We love you, sir. Please don't do that. You're too old for this shit.
I don't think that's going to happen. Kirk, William has always, post the original series, has had, always pushed for more creative control over how Kirk was depicted. I can't imagine him walking into a room with Kirkman and Abrams and all these freaking whack jobs and be able to go, oh yeah, that totally works.
It would be great to be a fly on the wall as the war began, though. That would be interesting.
I could picture William Shatner using the old Hulk Hogan line a lot. That ain't gonna work, brother.
I have a question, brother.
Are they making another Star Trek movie?
I don't know what they're doing, dude. I swear, I wish they would stop. But they won't, because it's about meanness and cruelty. So,
I do too.
You know what? I would want to. I would rather see that instead. I would rather see Hulk Hogan as a Starfleet captain.
Yes, I would. I would love that, dude. Make that shit happen, dude.
In the ring, brother.
He's in charge of the SS Hulkamania. What you gonna do when Hulkamania falls on you? Yeah, baby.
And you could have the Iron Sheik be like his Worf.
That's right. You could. Yeah, Sergeant Slaughter is the enemy.
Fuck the damn Klingons. Break their back. Make them humble.
Oh shit, dude.
She love it. I want this to happen now.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to make this happen.
I wish it just would all go away, but it won't. It won't. I know that. Yeah, no, that's right, Joe. But William, you're way too old to be getting into this, Mr. Shatner. Please, just be happy. You've had a great and storied career. Leave it at that. But because Kirkman or Kurtman or whatever the hell his name is, that is the ultimate simp. That's what that guy is. He simps to J.J. Abrams, which is horrible because J.J. is the ultra simp. So how could you're the ultra simp? That's talk about failure of human endeavor. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. But no, stop it. Next. Oh my God, we got to watch a trailer. Uh-oh.
First, look at this art style. Holy, hang on. Before I read this headline, we got to talk about what is going on here.
My eyes, they burn.
I don't even care about Aquaman, and he deserves better than this.
Yeah.
First trailer for Aquaman, King of Atlantis, is as atrocious as you thought. I don't think so. It's worse.
It looks really, really bad. We're going to check out the trailer here in a second, but I have to say, at least finally, we have a black Aquaman, and represent, brother. That's a good thing. I'm going to say that right out. No, I agree, Joe. That's true. So I'm clicking on this shit, and this is HBO Max, by the way. This isn't some Nickelodeon or Disney crap. This is HBO Max. So here we go. Ready? I'm ready. All right.
The world's not.
All right, I'm not going to turn the volume on because we'll definitely get hit. But all righty, all right.
So pay us to watch this.
All righty. So it's a comedy. It's Steven Universe comedy. He can't sit in his throne because he's slippery. Okay. All righty. It's a life in the times and in the day of Aquaman, I guess. Yes. So we have a very white Mira, but we have a black Aquaman. Okay, I guess that's fine. Yeah. Wow. $9.99 a month. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't know. They look stupid, Steven Universe crap, but we're all sick of it.
When did this become acceptable? I really need to know this.
I don't know. They didn't ask our opinion because you keep in mind, Teen Titans was great success. People absolutely adored it, and then all of a sudden it stopped, and then Teen Titans Go came, and it's like, why did that happen? Why?
Because I know a lot of people will like say, well, cartoons in the '80s was nothing but 30-minute toy commercials.
Yeah, so.
But for fuck's sakes, you take even the most blatant of those shows. Even some of the lesser known shows like Centurions, and their animation is miles ahead better than this. And in 40 years, you can't tell me this is the best we could do with all the technology available to us.
Well, it's because they're lazy asses. You see, those people back in those days, they worked hard. They put in long days to get those animations done. And these days, I've been here for 4 hours. I need a break. That's the world we live in, you see. But I got to listen to a little bit of it, though. I can't leave it like that. I got to listen to it. I'm sorry.
Don't do it.
I'm doing it.
He is Aquaman, and he just became King of Atlantis.
Thank you. Is there a different throne we could...
No. And the fate of his...
Okay, all right, fine. I get it. All right, no.
That's terrible. That argument that 80s cartoons were just big toy commercials is the stupidest argument of all time, considering that up until very recently, the most successful movie franchise of all time was basically just a big toy commercial. And that's Star Wars.
Yeah.
That was the point of those movies, was to push merch.
And they did.
And they did it incredibly well. It's just dumb. It's kind of one of those like gotcha things people will say like on Twitter and stuff because they think they're making a point with their snark. And I've come to understand that most of the time snarkiness is just a excuse to not have an argument.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
No, and we see the level of smugness that's going on now is really outside the pale, particularly from the youngins. Now, I understand
Mhm.
children are children, and they haven't learned and they're dumb, and I get all of these things, sure. But the level of smugness is like, where are the parents? Are you really not in? You have so little control of that situation
Yeah.
because
Well, I mean,
even
the
when I
parent's
was
only
that
10 years
age.
older than them these days.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
But there's no way I would have been able to get away with that shit. My dad would knock me halfway across the room, dude.
Oh, bro.
Can't
My
do that no
father
more.
is a very large man. He's bigger than me, and I'm a pretty large man. I wouldn't have made it to 15 years old if I was as snarky as some of these people are. Some of these youngins are. I hear them going off and like cussing at their parents and stuff. I'm like, bruh.
Yeah, no, I
I
wouldn't
can't
have done
even imagine if I was 12 years old and I threw an F bomb at my dad.
it.
I wouldn't have to imagine because I'd be dead. He would have cracked my skull open.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, and I would love to just sit and blame it on single mothers, but I think it's deeper than that.
Hmm.
A big part of it, but it's not the only reason. But
Yeah.
and another thing is, I am so sick and tired of this crap that passes for humor. Like
Oh,
everything now has to be a fucking comedy that's written by people who don't know comedy to save their life.
yep.
They just think snarky and smug
Yeah.
somehow equals
It's funny.
jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah,
It's
they're not funny. That's true.
I can
Yeah.
tell you a big part of the problem is in America, you're not allowed to be violent to anybody anymore. Like men aren't even allowed to really get in fights. You can both get arrested in many places.
yeah.
That's a serious problem because all that does is breed disrespect. Because when you
Yep.
can't get punched in the mouth for being a total C word, I won't say it on here because Twitter, we're already having problems with YouTube. We don't know what's going on. But if you don't get punched in the mouth for that, then you're just going to keep being that. And it
He
just
wants
gets
to say
worse.
capricious.
Sure, that one. That one's good. That's a good cynic. It's old Mike Tyson's quote, man. Social media has made a lot of you people real comfortable with being disrespectful and not getting punched in the mouth.
He's right.
It's true.
He's right.
It's true.
Yeah. Oh well.
but Brett, even with the stoner movies at least had setups with the situations. There's no
Yeah.
setups with these jokes. It's just snarky, smug comment followed with pop culture reference at random.
Yeah.
It's the same shit over and over again. Like even shows like that was considered campy, like Knight Rider, they had their moments of comedy. It was the situation that set things up that made it funny.
Yeah.
Like
No.
Kit,
Yeah.
like situations where they had Kit interacting with the world when Michael was away from him. Those was funny because of the situation being set up.
Sure. Yeah. Knight Rider, baby.
Now it's just somebody saying some stupid shit they heard on the internet or repeating a meme out loud. Like that's not comedy.
No, and of course you're right. And there's another little thing to this that I've been trying to understand because, like I said, when I had a group of friends that was growing up, we all did, right? And one of the guys, his dad was, the chief of the Narragansett, little teeny Indian tribe. But I also had friends that were, I had black friends too. And of course, when I was young, we didn't really think one way or the other. There was no racial element. We're Americans. We're Rhode Islanders, South Kingstoners, whatever, South
Yeah.
County. That's the extent of it. There just wasn't that thinking. There wasn't a racial element. However, I did spend a lot of time in black people's houses, and I guess if I think back, there were some subtle cultural differences, but it was nothing like it is today. And I watch some YouTube commentary from Tommy Sotomayor. I watch some Kevin Samuels as well. And
Yeah.
I also watch App and Preach in an attempt to understand what is going on now. Because it seems very, very different in the black community than it was when I was a kid. I don't know how in that short span of time things change so much, but they really feel like they have. That's my outside opinion. Now, Grimlock, do you feel the same?
Oh yeah, well, it's a matriarchal society. That's what much of Black America has unfortunately become. And there are so many numbers that has proven it. It's been brought up numerous times, but people want to ignore it. They always want to throw back to shit like slavery, where the stats have proven it. The Moynihan report, a very famous study from the '60s, proved it. It was not the legacy of slavery.
Correct.
It was basically the combination of social programs given to women by the government, Democrats in particular, and white feminism that basically emphasized that black women did not need their men to raise a household, and it went better than even they expected.
Yeah. Well, it's sad
They,
because
they didn't think it would work that way because like in the 1960s, 80% of black kids was born to two-parent homes.
yeah,
By the time I came along, the number had reversed almost completely to where it's like 73%, and it has hovered there ever since of single parent homes.
yeah.
So
Well, that's true, and this is only back in the '70s, right? And coming into
yeah,
the '80s. Out of all my friends, and of course, it's not just your friends. You end up going to other people's houses and doing stuff. It's a much larger clique, right? But
yeah,
I mean, every household I went into had a dad in it, except for one, and his dad
yeah,
died from cancer or something. But
yeah.
everybody had a dad. There was always a dad there, you know.
Yeah,
My
see,
father,
back then. Go
back
ahead.
in the '70s, my father coached a inner city because that's where he grew up. He grew up in the hood. It wasn't the hood when he grew up there, but that's where he lived when he was a young adult still. Um, he coached an inner city junior high football team.
Uh,
The Bears was their mascot, and most of his team was black kids.
you know,
And at this time, this was in the '70s, these kids, '70s and early '80s, still had this idea that being on welfare was a bad thing because
oh
they would
yeah,
literally make fun of the other kids
that's
if
right.
they were on welfare.
You got the
Now,
food stamps. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I remember.
yep, yep. Now they've flipped it around in their culture. I don't know why, but it's just an obvious observation to where that's not shamed anymore, and that's a serious problem.
It is. That was my best Eddie Murphy, by the way.
Well,
You on the
the thing is,
welfare. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
but the thing is, like back then, when you had dads, you had that air of accountability that I don't, in my opinion, you just don't have most of the time. And I'm not saying that all, because I know there'll be some woman ready to jump on the whataboutism train.
I don't give a shit.
Come barreling in. Yes, there is certain moms who was able to really hold it down on their own. But as Kevin Samuels has said in one of his recent shows, there's a difference between maintaining a child and raising a child. Yes, feeding, clothing them for 18 years, that's maintaining. Actually raising them, teaching them something, giving them values, teaching them accountability, that comes in raising, and that's one of the things that's been largely absent, and like the accountability. Like when I was a kid, nothing stopped me deader in my tracks, no matter what I was doing. Then I'll tell your dad.
You're damn right. You're damn right.
Because
Yeah.
the first thing
Yeah.
thing I had to think of is no matter what the hell was going on in school, I'm like, shit, I get out of school at 3 o'clock.
That's
I
right.
got to live with him.
That's right. That's right. No,
So,
it's very, very true. And these street prophets like Samuels and Sotomayor, Aber Preach, there's many of them.
Yep.
It's interesting that the street prophet seems to be having more effect than someone say like a Thomas Sowell,
Yeah.
a legitimate academic, right?
well,
But I mean, whatever works, right?
well, the reason Thomas Sowell wasn't effective for so long is because they was able to suppress him.
Yeah.
It's
And
It's kind
smear.
of like when I was it's kind of like when I was a kid, how how they smeared Malcolm X in favor of Martin Luther King, but as an adult, I am far more on Malcolm X's side than I was as a kid.
Yeah.
Because as an adult, I got to listen to him rather than just hear what people said about him.
Yeah,
Right.
Same
that's
thing
true.
with Thomas Sowell, because I only discovered Thomas Sowell 2 years ago. I'm 38, so just think about that. 36 years, I wasn't even aware of this man's existence.
Most of my opinions about race stuff are because of finding Thomas Sowell at a younger age. Because he just showed me all that he used to believe all that stuff, right? He even says be a Marxist and a socialist and all that stuff. And then he looked at the data and he's like, "Oh, well, that doesn't work."
No.
And that's basically what he did with me about the race stuff, because I believed all the narratives, that black people are being oppressed and it's because of slavery and blah 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 blah. It's not true. You can look at the data. The data doesn't back it up. If it was true, it would reflect in the data, and it simply doesn't. So what's the real issue? Well, then you go down deeper rabbit holes, and you can find differing issues all combined into one. But the main issue, and this is the same for white people too, is a lack of positive paternal influence, a lack of masculinity, actual masculinity, a lack of what we would consider the masculine traits 50 years ago, what they would have called the masculine traits. Temperance and discipline, and things like courage. These were all considered masculine traits, and they're not taught anymore at all. Not in school, not to anybody, and to even present them as a masculine trait is considered wrong, which is ridiculous because it's not. Those are masculine traits that come from strong men. Strong women have other traits that are just as wonderful and, in fact, just as necessary. But the lack of them from strong men is one of the reasons. It's not men's fault. I'm not blaming men. Men have been put in a position where the incentive to do that and to be that is just not there. So, of course, they're not going to do it. It takes a very strong-willed or stubborn man to be that guy when the world's doing everything in its power to keep you from being that guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see what you did, HBO Max first trailer for Aquaman? God damn you!
I love it.
But it's true. I mean, if I'll give a great example. Like one of the things I learned about Malcolm X that they didn't teach you as a kid. They always taught you about that he was more militant, and they always use that as a reason to dislike him. But if you actually listen to him, he was one of the first people to say something I hear many people talk about now, which is what they call the national divorce.
Yep.
Where Malcolm said, "Hey, look, we are the two predominant cultures in this country, and if we cannot work together without force, then we should leave. If you don't want us here, we can go."
Well, and the image of Malcolm X is, very skewed because keep in mind, there's a reason why Farrakhan and his people had him killed, right? Just like the reason why Muhammad Ali got in line, Cassius Clay, right?
Because
people misunderstand that real militarism is coming out of Farrakhan and his people. Yeah.
Because those other ones got in line, especially when the government started trying to suppress the civil rights movement as it should have been, with money, with influence.
Yeah.
When people go back and listen to those speeches, Malcolm named names. He named places. He named times. He named what the significance of these people were, and he named money. Because a lot of people don't understand back then how much these guys was getting paid once they got in line to stay in line.
Yeah.
Like that famous March on Washington when John Lewis, one of the most famous house Negroes of all time, had to have the only speech he had to be approved by one of the members of the Catholic Church before he went out there and gave it. It was utterly ridiculous. He was basically told. I forgot how he phrased it. He said they was told where to march. They was told what songs to sing. They was told what speeches to give. They was told how long to stay there, and they was most importantly they was told have their ass out by sundown.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, and this is what you get, HBO Max, for making Aquaman black. You get Malcolm X up in the conversation. Jesus.
Which, talk about one that doesn't.
I would hate
really
a Malcolm X movie at this time.
Oh my lord! Talk about one that really doesn't make sense. Is browning up Aquaman? What? How does that make any sense? Like, I get. Yeah, okay, but that one at least made sense. At least it went from a nautical people to a nautical people.
Yeah.
But most black people aren't a nautical people. They don't come from that. They don't have that heritage.
Not most. It's really not their thing. Modern Sudan piracy is a very new thing. Yeah.
I mean, a whole lot of black people can't even swim in America, especially.
Oh no, that sounds racist.
I mean, it's the truth.
Yeah.
I'm part of that number. I can't talk smack.
I never understood that though. That is one of those weird stereotypes. Stereotypes, of course, are generalizations. It's not everyone, no matter what you're talking about. But yeah, I've never had a black friend that would go anywhere near the water.
I don't like it.
Why though? What's up with that? I mean,
I don't know, man.
They
live
on the water.
Right now, you want the closest thing you'll ever experience to freedom, like in motion, is swimming or free falling out of a plane, I guess. But aside from that, is swimming underwater. It's so liberating. You can go any direction with very little effort. It's amazing. I love it. I love being in the water.
Yeah, no,
and
I
don't relate to it at all. I don't understand how anybody could not want to swim. I love it.
All I could say is I'm guessing it's a location thing, because where I've spent most of my time in life, there wasn't too many, pools was not a thing you saw like in the neighborhood on a regular basis. And like even where I'm at now, I'm inland like hell. I gotta drive 3 hours if I want to go to a beach.
Yeah, no, that doesn't apply because, like I said, I grew up in a beach place that has huge tourism during the summer. And in the summer, we're all down at the beach, going surfing or whatever, or at least trying to go surfing. And none of my black friends were anywhere near the beach ever. And they lived right on the beach.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. That is a weird thing. But that's fine. We'll let them have that. They don't get fried chicken and watermelon, though. Screw that. I love that shit.
That's universal. I don't know where that became just a black people thing, but I don't know. There isn't too many people I know that say no to fried chicken.
No, everyone likes fried chicken. Anyway, oof. Go ahead.
Ooh, that is a really bad picture. Gina Carano warns about surrendering freedoms after President Joe Biden's new vaccine.
All right. Now, yeah, this is your beauty queen. You guys keep telling me. Yeah, gorgeous.
Listen, that's a terrible picture.
That is a terrible picture. That really is.
And
I'm going to be honest. She looks like she's about to do a couple of things to that microphone that you usually have to, pay extra to see.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I used to have to be bouncers at those events. Anyway, of course, what they're talking about is the whole. I don't even know why they used her as the lead into this story, but whatever. Yeah, you go, Gina. But this, of course, is talking about Biden's little speech he gave the other day. Many of us are frustrated with the nearly 80 million Americans who are still not vaccinated, even though the vaccine is safe, effective, and free. Now, okay, here's our first statement. 80 million Americans, of which I guess he thinks what makes it incredibly more frustrating is that we have the tools to combat COVID-19 and a distinct minority of Americans supported by a distinct minority of elected officials. Well, you just said 80 million people. Pick, please. Is it 80 million people or a distinct minority and a distinct this and distinct that? I mean, is it a minority? And do keep in mind that the vast majority of people who are not vaccinated are actually Democrats. But anyway, we all heard this nonsense, and on and on and on it goes. And that's really what I want to talk about. What do you guys think about the President of the United States stating very clearly it's not constitutional, but he's going to do it anyway? What do you think about that?
I can't tell you what I think about that with full truth on YouTube.
I can't fuck around and find out, you old bastard.
Needless to say, it's amazing to me that a Democrat has found a way to oppress poor black people yet again. Because it's largely the black working class that is the unvaccinated per capita.
That's my
They're the
point.
group.
Yeah.
And, of course, that's who a Democrat has to attack, right? Now, I'm unvaccinated. I'm going to stay that way. Joe can suck both sides of my cock. But I don't particularly... Listen, we have a Second Amendment for a reason. I'm very glad that even my cuck governor made a statement against what he said. Hopefully he joins the lawsuits that are definitely going to happen. I think that if the American people are willing to surrender their medical sovereignty, their medical privacy, powers over their own medical decisions to the government, especially the federal government, then we get what we deserve. Simple as that. If they are not willing to do that, and so far I think most people agree that this is ridiculous. This is way over the line, especially the tone in which this senile old bastard dared to speak to the American people. Oh my lord, any president, not just Trump, if any president had got up there and spoken like that in any other time to the people, talking about his patience is wearing thin. Motherfucker, you
sounds like Obama, doesn't it?
Listen to me. You don't even get to have patience, okay? We aren't your subjects. This is America. You are supposed to serve us, not the other way around. Your patience is wearing thin. I got something for your patience, son. You senile old bastard.
Yeah.
I think that they're playing a dangerous game because here's the next one. Are you ready? I know it's coming. They're going to say the Department of Education has the authority to mandate without your consent that your child get vaccinated.
I'm sure they will. Yeah, I'm sure they're already planning that.
That's when the fun begins.
Yeah. Well, let me read these little tweets from Gina because she is not backing down at all, and good on her for that. Even though she's going to make a train wreck out of that mic, we all agree. It's going to happen. Yeah, basically, let's get into it here. Now, she gave that quote. This is not her quote, but the freedoms you surrender today are the freedoms your grandchildren will never know exist. Okay, I can't remember who said that, but whatever. Let's read these. The best time to have spoken up about these draconic lockdowns would have been when they locked us down. Yep. The second best time would have been any time since they locked us down. The third best time would be now. Yep, true. I request to restore the freedom to visit our loved ones during their stays at the Nevada hospitals. We will abide by, I guess she's in Nevada. We will abide by new regulations, but patients must be allowed a family member with them during these times. Okay, that's fair. Open up your businesses and churches. Put whatever regulation you want because that is your right, but open them up. You're telling me COVID-19 knows the difference between a protest or praise and worship? I haven't been to church in over a decade, but I sure would go now. Yeah, fair enough, dude. So she's not backing up at all. She's not saying anything incendiary, actually. But I'm sure they'll twist it into that. Yeah, there he is. That's our man.
Yeah. He's somebody's man.
Well, there are a couple of interesting things here. First of all, his family hates him, clearly.
Good. They should.
No respect whatsoever. No matter what you say about Trump, his family loves him to death. Right?
Yep. All of them, except for his one weird niece.
Yeah, well, it's not, yeah, that's fair. But I'm just saying that you have to read between the lines with that, right?
Even secondly, his ex-wife that he cheated on likes him. Like, what?
Yeah, no, that's true.
What kind of charmer is this guy in private?
But here's the thing. We all know Biden's not actually in charge. He's barely a mouthpiece. And what they're trying to do is put through all these draconian rules and put their Marxist plan in place and blame him for everything as they drive him out and he won't even be aware what's going on, and then put their Kamala in. That's what they're doing. That's why you don't see her. That's why she's out of sight, because they don't want any of this sticking to her whatsoever. That was the plan from day one, and it's the plan today. So I don't even think it's begun, guys. I think it's going to get way worse.
Yeah. This is the alpha test, right? This like if it's a video game, they're in alpha right now. They're not even debating yet. They haven't released the real nasty. Listen, we know what these people are. They're communists. They're Marxists.
Yes.
We know what Endgame looks like. We've seen it. For 100 years, we watched that religion decimate 300 million people all over the world.
Yeah.
Every time it's put in place, it decimates the people. Decimates them. And that's what they're after. They want that. They want to turn America into China. That's what they want. They don't even hide it. Like, they're pretty open about it. They love the social credit system. They love all that stuff. That's what this vax stuff really is. It's to set all that up. They know for a damn fact these vaccines are highly ineffective, and they don't care. They simply don't care. They don't care if it kills you. They don't care if it doesn't kill you. It's about control. Who will comply? Who will give up the right to their own body? Because, ladies and gentlemen, you have no other rights if you do not have that one. That's it. That's the fundamental one. Human sovereignty, self-ownership. It's the reason communists aren't people, because they don't believe in self-ownership. They sacrifice their own personhood for the collective.
Yeah, that's fair. My sketchbook. Yeah, that's true. And I've talked about that several times. It is what it is. I'm not going to, I want to move on to other things, but yeah.
Well, this happens with the It's Just crowd. You know, those faggots.
Yeah.
It's just a mask. It's just 2 weeks. It's just this.
Listen, the Patriot Act is just temporary.
It's just temporary.
10 years.
Yeah, you know, people who have willingly sacrificed their freedom to the government under the falsehood of fucking safety doing this turned a simple garden snake into a fucking hydra. And good luck thinking you can just cut off one fucking head and things will come back to normal. No, you're gonna have to take them all out.
Yeah, it's good.
And that's what's gonna happen.
I think. And Brett, no one here is supporting the grand old party. Understand that.
The grand old party is a distinction without a difference at this point.
It's all bullshit. Anyway, let's move on though, because we are getting on our time here. But yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking about more of that shit. Anyway, this is wonderful.
Oh boy. Okay, I just have a question. How do these families all end up all in Hollywood? How does that happen?
Because it's incestuous.
Like there's every 5 or 10 years there's a new family that pops up and all the siblings are actors and they all have jobs all at once.
Yeah.
Like what deal with the devil do they have to make to get their whole family in?
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
Rumor.
I think it involves sodomy.
I think that name is Journey. It looks like a medical condition. Smollet's Black Canary to lead Justice League in a sequel?
Okay.
That's a exclamation point question.
If you go and read the article, it's less of a question than you would think. But here's the thing. We don't know who she is. She's nobody to any of us. She was in a real serious failure of a movie, an actual flop, right? But yet she's going to get her own thing, so that's going to come out, and then she's going to be the leader of the Justice League. Now, understand she's playing Black Canary, and I love it how you have one of the very few black something that wasn't a black person. It is now, though, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you, Black Canary, Journey Smollett, are now in charge of the Justice League. So where's Wonder Woman? Where's Superman? Where's Batman? Where's Aquaman? Where's Cyborg? Where are they? I guess they're all gone. This phenomena of failing up is truly a miracle. A phenomenal miracle in our modern world that you can fail upwards. I'm going to have to change the dynamic, Grimlock.
No, it's not a miracle. They're chosen. They have a hand-picked group of approved people that they want in these positions, and they will put them in those positions come hell or high water. No matter, I know you pick on Gina for some of her pictures. Look at that fucking picture. Look at that.
Yeah.
Does that look like something you want to wake up to at 8 in the morning?
No, but I'm not really particular to that actual persuasion. I'm not the right
No, it's
person
not.
to
It's not.
talk to about that, Grimlock.
No, it's not even that she's black. She looks like she's got a fucking mouthful of sunflower seeds. Number one.
No, she looks like she's a bitch. Yeah, and
I don't.
I pick on Gina, but
And
I
I have
like
to say,
Gina Carano though.
I don't even think she looks like a bitch. Her eyes. I know there was a context, but she looks soulless as fuck.
Yeah,
she looks like she has to have sex to keep to and suck out your soul to survive.
Yeah, succubi. Yeah, there she is again. More succubi-ish. This one is even better, I think, for that point. Yeah, her eyes are soulless. That is fair.
How the yeah, but how the fuck do you have a movie that fails and you still get promoted? Well, I mean, look at what we've been talking about for years now. You had Sana Amanat start at a freaking indie company that fucking bit the dust, and somehow she got put into one of the most powerful positions at Marvel Comics.
Well, she's in charge. That's quite clear.
Yeah, but I'm saying you get a person like Heather Antos who's a failure everywhere she goes and never is out of work more than a day. These are chosen people. This is not even a miracle. We used.
And Booster, I'm not talking
this
about
is that privilege we always hear so much about.
Well, it is. And Booster, I'm not talking about the comic books. I'm talking about the movies. This lady was in a very failed thing, and yet she's getting promoted up, and you're going to throw her in charge of the Justice League. I know Black Canary has been in the Justice League and done stuff. I'm not talking about the comics at all. I'm talking about her and her successes. I got a question though.
That's a big word you just used there,
I know
Chester.
that was the sarcasm. Thank you. But I got a question. What is up with modern women and the damn cow ring in the nose? What the hell is that shit? It's so ugly, dude.
It is. It is. I don't personally
something that should have stayed in the 90s.
Yeah. I don't like nose rings personally. I know some people maybe they think it's hot. I've never liked it.
What's hot about looking like a cow? I don't understand. There's nothing sexy about that. Now I understand old man, new fashion. Yeah, I get it. Fuck off.
I don't like a bunch of tattoos on women either. I
hate tattoos on a woman, dude. Yeah, I don't like it at all.
I don't like it.
But that's neither here nor there because it can be done artistically. But a ring in your damn nose, I don't. Grimlock, you're a younger man. Help me out.
It's something I really don't care for. It was one of those things that was cool in the 90s that should have stayed there. Like that was something you saw a lot in high school, and we have a lot of people in this country that mentally never made it out of high school, Chester.
That's true. I can see
that is why social media is so big for them, because it's a virtual high school. You get to have the same behaviors. Just look at these people. That's it there.
No, I get it, but it's unattractive, and every time I see one, I want to pull it out. I should. That's what I should start doing. I should be the nose ring puller. That should be my new superhero title.
Like the tattoos, when I was younger, like I didn't mind it because you didn't see it that often. But it's kind of like, that Jim Cornette analogy of seeing two dogs fucking on the side of the street. You see it the first time and it's like, wow, but it's diminishing returns every time you see it. Now if you're dealing with the basic bitch, if she's got like an arm sleeve and a tramp stamp, it's like, oh.
Yeah, it kind of started with the tramp stamps, didn't it? It did. It started with the tramp stamps. Yeah, no. Anyway, I don't. That's kind of off topic, but yeah, whatever. Good. Go ahead. I ain't watching your shit, and I guarantee you a lot of people aren't going to watch your shit. So keep making movies that aren't going to make money. Burn it up. Go right for it. Have fun. Yeah. Next.
Booster, read this one.
I just want to hate that they're disrespecting my girl, Black Canary. She's a great character in Justice League, and the fact that they just picked this actress up, made her so like a punk rocker, and just threw into Birds of Prey, and now just throwing her into Justice League without kind of building up to her. And
I like how
it really sucks.
One of the only superheroes with black in their name that wasn't black.
Yeah, I know.
They made black.
I said that. Yeah. That's true.
There's a fair few. Black Canary, Black Adam, others.
Yeah.
But Black Adam, at least Black Adam's African.
Yeah. Well, and Black Canary in the comics is fun.
Egyptian,
You're right.
Well, he's from like a made up thing of like Cartec. I forget what it's fucking called, but it's supposed to be like Egyptian.
He was a Kang.
He was
literally a Kang. And
he
shit.
was Kangs, in fact.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, former The Mary Sue writer and social justice activist Sam Maggs working on Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake.
I'm glad Booster's here for this one. Yeah.
Now,
because we've seen tweets of her saying that she doesn't give a fuck about KOTOR.
No, she actually hates it, she said.
Yep.
But here's the thing. When that PlayStation new game reveal dropped, that hour thing that they did, I watched it, right? And I saw people going crazy. Oh, you got Wolverine and Knights of the Old Republic. Oh, even Jeremy over at the quartering dropped the thing. Ooh, Knights of the Old Republic. I watched that, and you realize it took over 20 minutes before you actually saw a white male in that presentation, right? It's all female, all ethnic, all the time is what PlayStation's up to, right? Now, it ended with a few things, and that's fine. But as soon as I saw this, I was like, no. Because the thing I noticed when I saw this and didn't lose my shit and all this thing, oh my God, Knights of the Old Republic, I noticed that every other thing said remastered, and that one said remade, right?
Yep.
And I was like,
and it doesn't need a remake. Well, I'll pull back. If they was to do a remake like Abe's Odyssey, New and Tasty, if they was to do something like that, I would have been for it.
Or maybe just Knights of the Old Republic 3. How about that?
Yeah. But Abe's Odyssey didn't change anything about the story. The graphics was redone from the ground up. And that's what I would think most fans of Knights of the Old Republic wanted, because that's what I would have wanted. The story was fine as it was.
Yeah, but as soon as I saw that... Oh, go ahead.
The story didn't need any changing. The story was what led to it. It was everything else about the game that aged like fucking milk.
Yeah, no, that's true. And having a remastering of it, fine, well enough. But of course, who asked for a remastering of Alan Wake, by the way. But anyway, another thing I noticed when I saw that little teeny teaser is our big badass Sith is female now. Did you notice that? That is a female Sith. I can't remember. What's the Knights of the Old Republic big bad guy's name?
Remember, the Force is female now. So.
Malik.
Oh,
is it Malik? I thought it was something.
Talking about Revan?
The bad guy.
Revan. No, Revan.
Well, the bad guy is Malik. Revan is your character.
Yeah. But this is a male in the original Knights of the Old Republic. It's a female. I saw it instantly, and I was like, okay, well, why is everyone going crazy for this? This is bullshit. This is exactly what you don't want. And then we find out that the person who's writing it not only is a hardcore SJW, but has openly hated on Star Wars fans and Star Wars in general, specifically KOTOR. Now, this is what you get. This is what you get. This is Lucasfilms under Kathleen Kennedy hating on men at 24/7. That's what this is. And I just, I'm glad people are pulling back and starting to notice that now. But when it first got released, people were losing their mind. Oh my God, it's awesome. It's like, dude, pay attention.
Listen, at the end of the day, there's still a giant dual-eared rodent that is in control of anything that happens with Star Wars, and they have an agenda. That agenda is not only to make money. That agenda is to push their ridiculous narratives that they've been pushing my entire life.
Yeah.
Ever since Walt died, really. His stuff got taken over, and a narrative was starting to be pushed, besides just basic morality lessons that his old stuff was about. And that is what they're going to push. They're going to keep pushing it. And they're going anything that they are in touch with or in bed with or in creation of or in control of is going to be to further that goal. And if there isn't one, like there's a rare aberration, It's exactly that. It's an aberration, and give it time, it'll also be towards that goal. Great example, Mandalorian. First season of Mandalorian, besides like the one fight scene with Gina Carano, there wasn't really any woke stuff in there that I can remember. Second season, woo, daddy. They pumped it.
Yeah.
Pumped it full. And this third season, if it ever happens, it's going to be even worse.
It will be.
That's what they're doing here, and that's why they're remaking KOTOR. KOTOR doesn't need remade; it just needs upgraded, updated. Yeah. The graphics and the sound quality needs updated, and the animations need updated a bit. Other than that, the game is literally perfect. It is one of the greatest games ever made. It's top tier. And I don't think anybody even disagrees with that. Even people who don't like it can understand why people think that. When it comes from storytelling perspective especially, it was the first game to have a truly dynamic story, fully voiced and everything, besides maybe like Final Fantasy VI, that had a twist in it that got most people were caught by surprise, or at least they really, really liked, right? They really were like, oh, that's really good.
You got to that revelation and you found out you was Revan? Like, that was cool.
It was a game. My point is it was a generation-defining, game-changing game. It changed the whole industry because after that, we started to see more and more narrative-driven, more cinematic-style storytelling. And this was one of the main reasons why. Star Wars games at this period were fantastic. For about 10 years there, they had a great run of really good games, and KOTOR was the best of them all. And the reason they want to remake it is because they want to, and they even say it, they want to contextualize it for modern audiences.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they don't want to contextualize shit. They want to change it. They want it to be a big old gay pride parade. It means nothing. It's just
modern
a made-up
audience. Word. They always go on about contextualize for a modern audience. Your audience, you mean? Your extremely small percentage of your audience, right? Because they don't fucking try to relate to normal fucking people. They're trying to relate to their people. But they make it sound like that their people are modern people, normal people.
Well, they're deconstructing the game. They're telling you right here.
It's so fucking out of touch.
It's basically change it for me and my friends. That's what the fuck it comes down to. It's not modern audiences because, as is noted, most of this fuckery comes from the people who live and die on social media. 80% of this country does not live and die on social media. In fact, most of them could give two good fucks about social media. It's what I've been saying. One of the reasons, I used to be against the idea of gatekeeping, but now I understand why there should have been some gatekeeping, because we as geeks, comic book nerds, whatever term you want to give us, we was too naive. Even as adults, we was too fucking naive. We honestly thought that the people who used to shit on us for liking these things as kids and teenagers, young adults, what have you, that as they became adults, that they changed. No, these people didn't change. These people saw an opportunity.
Yeah. No.
They didn't see something they wanted to be part of. These people never want to be a part of it. They want to take over it. That's the thing people are not understanding.
Yeah, no,
this is not a culture war. This is a hostile takeover.
It is.
We need to stop calling it a culture war. It is a hostile takeover.
Yeah, nerd culture might have become popular, but the nerds are still nerds. That's true.
Yes.
Because
as nerds, we always said, "Hey, the more the merrier." We never, stopped saying that. I mean, even back then,
Yeah, but we're
even when it was stereotyped.
nerds, though. You got to remember, stay in your place, right? But I want to hear Booster's opinion on this. But let me read what Mag said. Could not be more honored and excited to be part of an incredible team at Espear Media to remake one of my all-time favorite games. Now we know that's not true. We've seen your tweets, lady. Go ahead, Booster.
I've got nothing to say. I'm eating an English muffin with ham, mate.
Oh, that's as you should be, sir. That's a good thing.
And you're not sharing, you bastard.
Fuck this cunt, and I hope she gets cancer.
Fair enough.
Oh God.
Well, yeah, I understand in the chat you guys are saying you could play male or female. I'm not talking about the character you play. I'm not talking about the revelation of Revan. That's not what I mean. I'm talking about the main baddie and the main stuff. It's going to be changed, dude. It's going to be changed. And there's going to be gay characters. There's going to be all kind of crap because no matter how much they say they want to recapture what made it work, that's not what they're doing. That's not their first and foremost goal. Their first and foremost goal is to make it culturally appropriate from their point of view. That's what their goal is.
Well, this is the thing that I'm wondering how many times people need to see this to understand. This is a red flag. How many franchises have we seen being taken over where somebody says, how excited they are to be a part of a remake of their favorite insert whatever here? We've heard this time and time again, and every time it's been a lie. If people are not seeing that as a red flag, the moment you see that tweet, you should be going, okay, no pre-order here. In fact, I'll just play the original. Which you can. If you have Xbox Game Pass, you can play the original Knights of the Old Republic.
Well, I got an emulator right here. I mean, I can play it.
Get you an emulator,
PC.
do that.
I've got it on PC.
Yeah.
There's ways you
There
can do
was
it.
a time when, which is weird, Amazon, if you signed up for Prime, they were literally giving it to you for free for like a year. Just the whole game.
Yeah.
Kotar, here you go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say it then. You want this game? Pirate it. You wanna play KOTOR now? Pirate it. Don't give these people fucking money.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's fair.
Listen, Chester, you were talking earlier. I'm going to real quick. You were talking earlier about one of the things that brought America to existence. Why those men did that? A lot of it you can thank the pirates for. These men understood the ages of piracy, which never really ended, but just shifted locations. That whole idea, that whole romantic idea of the pirates that we've taken into modern times, a lot of that influenced politics in this part of the world, still to this day, really, but especially then. And it's one of the best ways for a people who are disaffected and literally attacked by that's the goal here, to piss you off, to get back at them is piracy. It's a very sophisticated way of being savage towards these people. And it's always existed, by the way. Raiding, pirating, banditry, being a highwayman. It's all the same thing. Yeah, a lot of times it was just for pure greed, most of the time even, but there were some times when it was for a point. Yep. A great example is the Boston Tea Party. That was an act of piracy.
Tea Party. That's right.
Yeah. Piracy can be very much a political message, or just a few message. And I think we're in an age now where if you want to engage in it, because KOTOR is, like I said, it's one of my favorite games of all time. Probably just about everybody. One of their favorite games. It was a great game.
Yeah.
My conscience, I can't give these people money. I can't do it. I can't do it, even if it comes out beautifully and they don't make really any changes. They just do minor things, maybe dialogue changes or something. But other than that, it's basically the exact same game and it looks great. I still can't give them their money. I can't, because they're employing people like this, and I can't support this person getting paid.
Well, I wanted to take a look at this person's mentality here, and take a look at this tweet. I mean, there's plenty of others people will probably link in on more than this one, but I think this is more telling. Fighting the patriarchy makes me so hungry, so I'm going to sit in the kitchen while my male partner cooks dinner. Now, here's the thing about love. It's not that. You see, you don't go on and make some kind of negative comment about the person who's supposedly your partner, whether they be male or female. It doesn't matter. This is not a statement of love. You obviously don't care about this person. I don't even know if this person exists. But I mean, this shows you the mentality. This is not how you talk about your partner.
I guarantee you that if she does have a man at home, it's the guy she settled for after all the guys she wanted told her no.
Big quotes on the end of that, male. Real big quotes.
Yeah. No. I guarantee you, because there's so many of them that turn out like this chick. Kevin Samuels has mentioned them. They go out when they're young. They chase the men they can't obtain. And they waste most of their youth. And then when they realize that their options are starting to dwindle, hey, big head, and they called the guy that they knew that had a crush on them back in high school, because he probably still does. And yeah, she'll get with him, not because she wants him, because she has no other options. She probably doesn't love the dude, but and I guarantee it's a white guy, because ain't no black guy putting up.
Yeah. Well, no, and it's hardly acknowledged to be a man. But whatever. It goes on, and they're just showing off some of her. She's nasty. This is a straight up nasty human being. She's hateful, arrogant, and yet she's in charge of a beloved thing. But once again, it goes back to what I've been saying the whole damn time. This isn't about making money. This isn't about making things new or modernizing. This is about destroying the things that men like. It's about breaking men's toys. And that's what it's been the whole time. Even little things like, for instance, we all talk about and enjoy wrestling here. A lot of us grew up with it and we like talking about it. Now, there's always been female wrestlers. Keep that in mind. There's been female wrestlers going way back. However, it keeps getting pushed more and more and more. Why? It's a man thing. Why? I mean, unless you're going to get up there and be pretty, go the fuck home. Right? But no, it's got to be serious now, to the point that the other day on SmackDown, because Edge and can't remember his name, their match went long.
Right now.
Yeah, they had to cancel the female match they had set up, and people like going crazy on Twitter about it. But it's like, once again, something that men like, you got to come and you got to mess with. Now you have to have female fights all the time. You have to push these female fighters, and I don't really care if they're great fighters. I don't care if they're amazing. It doesn't mean shit to me. Not even a little bit. It's just another example of taking something men like and fucking with it.
It's not just that. It's also trying to keep feeding people who can't accept reality a lie. So this is one of the reasons why we have a lot of the lunacy that we have going on in this country. Is that we want to keep feeding people this lie about equality, and it's bullshit. Equality is one of those things that sounds nice when it comes out of your mouth. It sounds really great and noble. But the truth of it is, it's fucking bullshit. There's no such thing as equality. There are 4 men in this chat right now, and we are not equal. Only thing...
I'm better than all of you. That's right.
In some ways, yeah. No. In some ways, yes. I won't even argue that. In some ways, absolutely you are. And in some ways, I'm better. And in some ways, Hector is better. And in some ways, even Booster is better.
Well, now let's not get crazy. Come on.
No, I mean, if we went down the list, it might take a little bit longer. But there's something Booster's probably better at than the 3 of us.
Booster's actually
sucking. Yeah,
he's really good at video games. He's better than me at video games.
Really
I hate at certain video games. I'm sure I could kick his ass in a strategy game, but in like
1v1 me in anything, nerd.
Yeah, more active games. I don't think he's got the youth advantage on me for one.
1v1 me in Fortnite.
I don't think I've ever even played Fortnite.
but this idea that we have to keep telling people, you're equal, and the only thing that is stopping you is some societal construct. It's the epitome of delusion. It's again going back to teaching people not to accept reality. You hear people say, "Oh, my truth," which usually followed up by some absolute bullshit
nonsense.
Yeah, and understand that comment I was making about wrestling, and you equate equality to it. That's not equality. That's equity.
Yeah. Well, that they
but that's where that comes from.
They think equity is equality.
Equity is just Marxism, and Marxism is just egalitarianism taken to its extreme.
They think equity is something to actually fucking strive for.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
It is terrifying. Yeah.
As Thomas Sowell once said, I had every opportunity to make it to the NBA as Michael Jordan did. I just didn't have the talent Michael Jordan had.
Right.
That's true.
It's really and I know some people say, well, that's oversimplifying it. No, it's really, that's what it comes to. Sometimes it's really just that fucking simple.
It is that simple. Yeah,
hey, there's a guy who's 6 feet tall and he's 300 pounds, and you're 5'2" and you're 300 pounds, and you having a hard time moving around. Yes, because 5'2" body isn't built to hold weight like a dude 6'8". You're not equal. It's just that simple. There's nothing wrong with it. We have been taught that every inequality is a negative one. That's not the fucking case.
That's true. It's
The
not.
only equality is the grave. I say it all the time because it's the truth. We're all destined for one place, and that's that damn dirt. Well, maybe the sea, but regardless, it's a grave nonetheless.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the only equality among humanity. We are equal in our mortality. And some people, I think, need to be reminded of that because they have this highfalutin idea.
I want you guys to cremate and snort me.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
No, we don't even have equality in that because fuck, look at Joe Biden. Look at this evil bastard and how long he's gotten to live.
Yeah, it's fair.
He's still gonna die one day.
Booster's about to die in a month from the sound of it. So.
Okay.
I'll have you know my blood pressure's back to normal, Chester.
Ooh, threaten me all you like, brother. All right.
I see. You're telling me you're gonna come around in a month. I see.
Alrighty then.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Anyway, it is getting on my time, so let me take a look at the last thing I want to talk about. I thought it would be interesting just to take a look at the some of the main news that Americans have to deal with, and of course, the two of these are worldwide, not just America. But let's take a look at the headlines and what's being talked about. Let's take a look at Fox first. So here's Fox. Yes, thank you for your advertisements. So what do we got here? We got you go ahead and read it, Booster. What are our headlines we see at the top here? Just looking at it.
What do we have here? The daunting favor Trump claims Biden did for China and Russia with his botched Afghan withdrawal.
Ooh, that's an accusation there. A little bit of shade. What else we got here?
Well, you got Biden admin puts vaccine exemptions on notice as outrage intensifies. Yeah, I bet. Liberal activist Rose McGowan takes aim at BLM and doesn't stop there. What has Rose McGowan been up to? That maniac.
Right.
I've been loving seeing her lately. It's so funny. She's insane.
She is crazy,
missing woman disappears after road trip with boyfriend. Oh, that sucks. What? Missing woman disappears? Wait. Yeah, that's what Muslim does. I had to read that twice. I was like, "Wait, what? Missing woman disappears?"
I know it's
the invisible, unseen woman.
It's unseen. Yes.
Yes.
And of course,
she was missing. Then she fucking disappeared. Shit, she's gone.
That's terrible, man. That's a terrible thing.
It is horrible. And of course, Cyndi Lauper has to get woke. But anyway, all right. So we got a little mix of there. We got some social stuff going on here. A little bit banging at what's going on with the vaccines. Trump versus Biden, of course. I don't see much here. Here's an Al Qaeda leader thing. So there's at least something about Afghanistan. Even though, keep in mind, Americans still there, right? Okay. But this is what Fox has got for you. Let's take a look at CNN. Go ahead, Booster.
Hard reality of Brexit hits Britain. Spiraling costs. Empty shells. Missing truck drivers. Brexit is taking a toll on everyone but Boris Johnson.
Is it?
It's Brexit's fault. That's
Brexit's fault.
Not the worldwide pandemic that shut down supply lines all over the world for months at a time. Brexit. That happened 5 years ago.
It's not truck drivers protesting their insanity by saying, you know what, we can cut you fuckers off.
Yeah. Of course, it has nothing to do with Brexit. But what else we got here? Economy thing. We got some tennis stuff. FBI releases a document after Biden's order. I'm sure that's great. North Korea fires a missile. Boxer sailing. Yay, cruise ship. Ooh, $40 million new city in American desert. Do we see anything or hear about what's actually going on with, say, the vaccine, Afghanistan? Nothing.
Of course not.
Nothing.
No actual news.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Watch Bush's 9/11 memorial.
Oh God.
It's been 20 whole years.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah.
Only if he's dead. It's the only way I'm watching it.
Yeah. Well, I do think there is a disconnect between those who lived through 9/11 and those who didn't. For damn sure. But anyway, so we can see a distinct difference here. Fox is talking a little bit about what's actually going on, not really. CNN is avoiding it. Let's see what MSNBC has to say.
Oh, God.
Here we go.
Biden is finally doing what is necessary to end the pandemic. Oh yeah,
yeah.
Because I'm sure that the threat of forced vaccines is gonna go down very fucking well and not kill anyone.
Yeah. We got the mind-numbing hypocrisy of Republicans defending Capitol rioters in the post 9/11 era. Read some of these,
Capitol
Booster.
rioters. You mean that? What was the body count? Oh no, what was it? 2?
1, and it was one of the so-called rioters. Yeah.
I heard that one of the officers got beat to death. Was that a lie?
No, that was a lie. Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
The only person who died was a lady who got shot by a person who was a security, and we still don't even know his name. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, there you have it then. Funny how that is.
Yeah.
So what am I reading?
Top videos.
Top videos. Okay, Trump's plan on 9/11 are perfectly fitting for his disgraced ex-president.
He's doing the boxing thing. Yeah.
Disgraced ex-president. Fucking hell. Biden has a message for Republicans fighting his plan to defeat COVID. Oh, yes.
Yeah, we got a message for you too. I'm not even a Republican.
Good dogs excel as a new trick of COVID detection at Miami Airport.
You get him, pup. You find them COVIDs.
Look at that. Look at that good boy. He's gonna sniff your crotch if you find the cancer.
Yeah.
Why is this former Democratic senator trying to help millionaires avoid taxes?
Why?
Because you're a Democrat.
Exactly.
That's what they do.
It's what they do, yeah. And it's all nonsense. I put this up here, really the other two are better look at each other. But
say one thing and do another. That's a Democrat for you.
Yeah, it is. MSNBC is absolutely out of its mind. But
at least with the Republicans being a cunt, they mean it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But yeah, no, it's stark, isn't it? And even if you look at Fox's page here, it's really not talking about what it should be talking about. Not really. I mean, a little bit of pushing back against the vaccine mandate, fine. But really, what's going on? What's the big, hot, super topic that everyone should be on 24/7? Oh, I don't know. Americans stuck in frickin' Afghanistan. That would be the top story, right? Have we abandoned them? Clearly. Have we forgotten them? Clearly. We're just going to let them die. That's the deal? Everyone has just decided to ignore it. Is that what's going on? Right?
Yeah,
so,
apparently.
Apparently, yeah. So, yeah, this is nonsense. And the one good thing I would say that came out of that I really, really, really appreciate is a lot of Americans, and I'm sure other people too, not just Americans, but a lot of Americans, independent people, not part of a government, not part of any of these news things, just people spent a lot of money, people getting on the ground, going to Afghanistan, trying to get people out. A lot of people did that, and good on them for that. Good on them for that. How sad is it that the citizens have to do what the government can't? That is insane. But that's the reality of the world right now. Right?
Sadly.
Sadly. Anyway, that's what we have for you today, folks. And yeah. Thank you all for your comments. There's a lot of really good stuff today. I appreciate it. I couldn't read it all, but I was taking a look at it as we were going through. I do appreciate you guys' commentary. Thanks for coming in here and being with us. And just kind of looking at the nonsense and trying to suss it out and understand what's going on and where we stand in it and how can we deal with it, because that's really the issue at hand, right? But nevertheless, let these guys give the closing comments, and then we're going to sally out of here. Go ahead, Booster.
I'm really happy with my videos at the moment. Well, some of them. My video game videos, a lot of them are actually quite low quality, which sucks because I was using the recorder wrong. I fixed that now, but so I'm gonna have a few crappy videos. But my comic reviews that I'm doing are coming out really well.
Nice.
I'm very happy for them. I'm very excited to start putting things out eventually one day, maybe.
Okay. There we go. Well, we'll wait for it. Grimlock?
Oh, well, we are, 3/4 of the way into another year? 3/4 of a year into, 18 months of stopping the spread?
Yes.
That was supposed to have taken 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
All I will say is, you will only let these people go as far as you allow. And for the last 20 years, we've seen people allow them to take as much as they want under the falsehood of safety and security. Nobody is in charge of your safety or security, much like your happiness, except for you. So, to the people who are that afraid, either admit your fear or start looking in the mirror and taking control of your shit, because it is not the rest of the country's job to keep you safe and to make you happy.
That's true. That is a very good point. And do keep in mind, guys, we're 8 months in to the Biden administration. We have 40 months to go.
Yay!
May dementia work its magic and work quickly.
Go ahead, Thunder.
I have a thread on Twitter. I'm going to summarize it that I found recently that I think is very poignant to some of the stuff you were talking about. These are the rules. 1, politics is fake and homosexual. Do something real instead. 2, no gestures of loyalty to the enemy, ever. 3, if you are awake, you're an extremist. Even if you don't think so, act accordingly. 4, make use of the rules without submitting to them. Number 1 means everything that you see in politics is a show. All of it. All of it. Go make something real. Something permanent that's real that you can touch and see and feel. Number 2, it's kind of an extension of 1. Since politics is fake, all the buzzwords are fake too. Xenophobe, racist, homophobe, transphobe, all of them. They're all fake. Don't use them. Don't fall for it. Exit the matrix. Stay out of it. Somebody mentioned the matrix earlier. Stay out of it. Don't use their vernacular. It was created by the woke only to enslave you. 3 means the simple act of don't obey the rules you can get away with not obeying. These things are designed to simply demoralize you, most of them. They're not really effective at doing anything other than getting you to acquiesce to their requests. And 4 is very simple, and it's the most important thing. These rules are rules. They're a tool to be used. Never live every minute of your life by them. Everything that you see in here, all of it that we talk about on here, all of it, it's a show. Politics is fake in America especially, and everybody knows it. It's a pro wrestling show at best.
Yeah.
Stop pretending it's anything else.
Well, it's like a pro wrestling show in the mid-90s. Ew.
Yeah. Number 4 is the most important, but all of these are important. Every single person, a lot of the people in our chat, a lot of people around us, they know that the world that we live in is nonsense. If you're awake to that, as we call it, awake, if you're red-pilled, you are literally, to the vast majority of people, an extremist. They will gladly label you as such when the government comes knocking on their door. Act accordingly.
Namaste. Do keep in mind, mentioning the Matrix and red pills, that Trinity is actually the one, and she's going to save that stupid lame-ass Neo. Later.
It's so common.
I love you.